Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Katie Cleesby, and I'm the founder of Rexpert, a marketplace to find recreational activities and coaches near you. And this is our weekly Wellness Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 12, bringing you local experts and amazing topics. And this week we have Piezas-Jerbi, and I met Ninez locally here in Loudoun County, and she is an executive coach, mentor, and yoga teacher here in Loudoun, and we have a special workshop today, and she's going to take us through some breathing techniques and stress management. It's a tough time of year, so hopefully all these strategies we learned today will be effective. So welcome, Ninez, and I'll let you take it away.
Hi, Katie. Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Where is this now? Ooh, here it is. You seeing this, Katie?
We are. Looks great. Thanks.
All right. So today I'm going to be talking about the power of breathing, techniques to navigate stress and unlock calmness. That's very important, especially when you're in a work environment that just drives you crazy and stressed, and you don't even know it. So thank you for inviting me to do this. But maybe what I should do first is explain who I am, talk a little bit about me. I worked for 33 years in an international organization, in the World Trade Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. So 33 years is a long time. So I learned a lot working there. I'm a trained statistician. And then later on in my career, I switched to management work as a knowledge management, the chief of the section there. But at the same time, I also, because of my work, I also created a network of employees. I built the community there on employee networks. So that was a lot of hand holding. That was a lot of staff engagement events that I had to organize, and also get people to come to events just to connect. So that was a big part of my life there in the World Trade Organization. And then towards the latter part of my career, in 6 years, towards the latter part, I became a coach because I thought, to deal with people, you need to know how to connect with them. And as a coach, that's one of the reasons why I became a coach. It's finding out, helping them find their treasures, if you like. And being a coach helps do that. And then, and because I had to work with a lot of senior managers and levels of all staff of all levels, there's a lot of internal politics, so yoga really helped me combat all the stress that I had to deal with. Excuse me, I had to drink. So I practiced yoga in 2013, I think. And then and then I decided to be a teacher myself because I did it every day anyway. So I said I might as well, and it helped me a lot when I was working. It really helped me have a shield to protect me from negative stuff, and also helped me deal with the work and the people around it. So I became a teacher as well. So what am I about? I think basically it's just to help people lead inspiring lives. It's hard to live, sometimes you live and you're just walking there, but sometimes you wonder whether you're actually living according to your own values. So with authenticity. And also you have, when you want to live according to the way you want to live your life, you need to be resilient. There are people who are going to be resisting your values and who won't agree with you. And so you need to be grounded and tough even. But at the same time, when you live, you don't want to live like you're like moping all the time. You want to live life with full joy. So I think it's a lot of people live and they're asleep. They're just going through the motion of stuff. But it takes consciousness. It takes a conscious mindset to live according to the way you want to live, and to live with full joy, and to live, to have gratitude, and to realize how much people are blessed, how much we have already, and not pine for things that we don't have. So today, when I retired last year in 2022, I decided to work full time as a executive coach, and then also practice some knowledge management, which was my last job too. But at the same time, I also practice yoga every day. So I give free yoga classes to my neighbors in the One Latin community. So that's what I've been doing today. So in a nutshell, what I want to do is make people become more impactful human beings, especially managers and leaders. And sometimes, when you're a manager, you think you're also a leader, but actually that's not true. Managers aren't necessarily leaders, but what we really want today are leaders. And you don't have to be a leader who has a very sexy title. You could be a leader at any level of your company. And as a coach, that helps me. And yoga helps me always stay true to my values. So that's why I am a coach, and that's why I'm also a yoga teacher. So as I said, being well was important to me because I had competing priorities. There's a lot of internal politics. I was a high performer. And then I had to get people to come to all our events. So that takes a lot of influencing, a lot of inviting and helping them get engaged. It's very difficult to engage people, as you know, Katie, to do stuff, to do activities. So you need to know how to connect with them. You need to know what makes them tick, and you need to know what's important for them. So, and at the same time, while you're doing all that, you also need to be well yourself. And people, I think, see through you. If you're stressed, they don't want to work with people who are stressed or too, highly strung. So you need to be stressed inside and be radiant outside so that people will just come to you when you need them. So that's why well-being is important to me. So for the topic of today, I think it's really it's an understatement, but breath really matters. I mean, I heard that the three quotes that are really important to me, for example, are the people who are important to me, who taught me about breath, is Carolyn Cowan. I work with the Kundalini Research Institute. I read a lot from the KRI, Kundalini Research Institute, and I took a course where this lady, Barbara Pigeon, who is a breath specialist, also said a few resonant quotes. When you breathe consciously, you're forcing yourself to be in the here and now. You're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. It's when you breathe, you go back to your body and you're like, oh, I'm here. I can touch I'm alive. I can touch my fingers. I can feel my body. I'm focusing on my physical sensations. And then another one that really resonated with me was this about what the KRI said. It says, the slower your rate of breathing, the more control you have over your mind, because the mind follows the breath and the body follows the mind. So, when you're in an important meeting and when you're like stressed, they said that the best way to really lower your heart rate so you won't get stressed is to breathe, but not breathe like involuntarily, because of course we breathe and that's why we're alive, but it's to breathe consciously, breathe like inhale through the belly, a deep breath, and then exhale through the nose. But we breathe a lot, that's true, but what we don't do is we don't breathe consciously. And that's why. And the good thing about the breath is that it's free and we have access to it anytime we want. It's just something that you can access it as soon as you think about it. And that really is, and they say it's very simple to do, but it's not always very easy to do. Sometimes simple is not necessarily easy because we always forget to breathe most of the time, at least breathe consciously. So this Barbara Pigeon also said that conscious breathing enables a shift from habituated ways of being, which are usually very destructive or damaging, where sometimes we live our lives in autopilot. So we do this, we're running around, and then you forget to breathe. But when you take the time to breathe deeply, somehow you become much more conscious of what you're doing right there and then. You become more self-regulated, and when you notice things in your body because you breathe, you become you're much more aware of your emotions, and you're able to regulate your emotions because you're conscious of them. So it basically puts you in a more self-regulated and a stable state. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And so long deep breathing is something that, as a yoga teacher, that's something I never really used to do when I wasn't doing yoga. I thought breathing was like breathing, but long deep breathing is really something that really makes a difference. So, and when you're doing long deep breathing, you're breathing through the nose, You're not breathing through the mouth. It's through the nose. Just, and sometimes we don't even know how to breathe. So when you're doing long, deep breathing, you usually start by filling the abdomen with air. So you can see your belly rise like that. And it goes into the chest, and it goes to the upper ribs, and then the clavicles and the collarbones. And then when you exhale, it's the reverse. The upper body deflates, then the middle, and finally the abdomen pulls in. And it's almost like the navel point goes towards the spine. So, and we don't often do that consciously. And sometimes, and the way when you think about it, babies actually know how to breathe, because when they're sleeping, you could see their bellies go up and down when they breathe. So, some people are saying that if you really want to know how to breathe, like proper deep breathing, try to become a baby again and just really like lie down and just, look at your stomach as you're breathing, and see when the belly rises when you inhale, and when you exhale, the belly goes towards the spine. Yeah. So that's what's long deep breathing is that's what it entails. It sounds actually very simple, but it's not always something that we do all the time or we think about doing because we're too busy. So these are just a list that I got from a source, but of course in the internet you find lots of benefits of long deep breathing. But for me, what really resonated with me was that conscious breathing also cleanses your blood. For example, there's in Kundalini yoga, there is a breath called the breath of fire, where you pump your diaphragm. So you're like putting in your diaphragm up, in and out, and it sort of like wakes up the blood in there. It cleanses the blood. If you do it for 3 minutes, they say that it cleanses your blood. It also gives you energy when you pump the diaphragm. So when the navel point goes to as you exhale, the belly goes towards the spine, and when you inhale, and when you relax the breath, that's when you're inhaling. So it's a pumping action. And it also apparently they also say that long deep breathing stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete, and the pituitary gland is that gland that is supposed to help us with our intuition. So by activating the pituitary gland, our intuitive power, or I guess our ability to be more intuitive, increases. And I think my favorite is the fact that when you breathe, it calms you, because you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which is that nervous system which calms you down. It's really it's a simple thing, and yet we don't really pay attention to it. So and then they say also yeah, and then I guess the first thing that hit me when Barbara Pigeon, this lady who I took a course in, she said, the only way to slow your heart, the only thing that can do that, is your breath. And the good thing about that is that you can access it whenever you want. So really, what we really need to be happy is already in us. We just have to remember to do it. And of course, when at least for me, when I'm stressed, the first thing that goes is my heart goes like ballistic. It beats very fast. So as soon as you focus on the breath, which is your first sign of being alive, somehow it helps your heart to beat slower. And that, after that, you notice other things in your body too, like your hands, the tingling of your hands, or if your stomach is upset, it's all that. So it's the start of paying attention to your physical sensations when you breathe. So traits of dysfunctional breathing. Here's another thing. These are things that are signs that you're not breathing right, which I found really interesting. Breathing through the mouth, and especially this one, taking large breaths prior to talking. Sometimes when there are people who are talking in a meeting and they stand up, and it's as if they're like running they're being out of breath whenever they're talking, and that's not good. It's not a good sign that you're properly breathing. And this thing with yawning with big breath, sometimes I find myself yawning as well with a big breath. And apparently that's not a good sign either. And of course, when you see your chest moving up and down like that, that's also not a good sign. And sighing, I remember in the Philippines, we were always said, "Oh, don't sigh. It's bad luck. It's bad manners." Also, but at the same time, it's also not a good sign that you're, it's like this. Although in yoga, you're allowed to also just exhale, every now and then, but consciously, not just because you have to. But so if you're sighing consciously because you're willing to sigh, then that's good. But when you're sighing because you always have to feel like to sigh, then there might be a problem. So hearing your breath during rest, that's also another apparently not a good sign as well, that your breathing isn't proper. So I thought that was interesting. So I guess part of this workshop was also how to breathe. So it sounds very simple, but really the idea is that when you're sitting up or you're in a mat or it's good to have your feet firmly into the ground, or if you're laying in a mat too, that's okay too. But the idea is to have your spine stretched, and imagine like there's a string pulling. So you stretch your spine from the tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. It's as if there's a string pulling the crown of your head upward towards the sky, and that makes the spine stretch. And when the spine is stretched, this allows the body to breathe more freely. So there's no, like no curves or whatever, which takes the time for the breath to go all the way up to the brain. So, and naturally, so that's what you want to do when you want to breathe. So, and I thought that maybe it might be a good idea to just do some examples of calming breaths. I mean, these are very simple ones, but as I said, it's simple, but we don't necessarily take the time to do them. So, I thought maybe it might be a good time to just practice calming breaths. So the first one I thought was just simple, long, deep breathing. So by long, deep breathing, meaning, so sit up if you're sitting in a chair, you stretch your spine, your feet are firmly in the ground, your tailbone, your two bones, sit bones are firmly into the chair. You can feel both of them equally with equal weight in the chair. And then your spine is elongated, it's stretched, as if the crown of the head and your neck is like an extension of your spine. So when you inhale and just inhale through the belly. So when you inhale, you see the belly expand. Wait for that breath to go up until it reaches here. And then when you exhale, the belly starts going towards the spine. So your navel point goes towards the spine. So let's do that for just, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes. I mean, a minute already is long, and 3 minutes is, they say that 3 minutes is enough to change your electromagnetic field, because they say that the heart emits an electromagnetic field which affects our beta, our behaviors, our thoughts, our actions, and emotions. So when we breathe, it'll help our heart be calm. So let's do that for 3 minutes. So let's just do long, deep breaths. So breathing through the nose, and when we inhale, the belly expands, and when we exhale, the belly goes towards the spine. So let's begin. I'll keep the time. So 3 minutes. You can close your eyes if you want. You can just really pay attention to your physical sensations. Really observe how that belly expands when you inhale. And when you exhale, the belly really goes towards the spine. If your mind begins to wander, just focus on the breath. Go back again to the breath, because your breath is your North Star. The exhale is important as well because that's what helps you calm down. The exhale is what we use to calm any tension that exists anywhere in the body. One more minute left. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Was that difficult to keep the attention? Sometimes it's hard to, 1 minute already, sometimes mindfully breathing is hard. More, sometimes 3 minutes is even harder. So the second one is called single nostril breathing. So single nostril means you only use one nostril. So here we're going to inhale with the left nostril, hold the breath for 2 seconds. So we put the thumb behind the right nostril, and then we inhale with the left, hold it for 2 seconds, and then we exhale, using the index finger to cover the left, and exhale to the right. And then we start again. Inhale with the left, hold for 2, exhale with the right. So they say that when you inhale through the left nostril, that sort of promotes a calming effect. But when you inhale from the right nostril, that gives you more energy. It's the pumping. It gives you, so if you want to be awake, inhale through the right nostril. But if you want to just calm down and just quiet yourself down, use the left nostril. So shall we try that for 3 minutes and see? Okay, let's start. So inhale, hold for 2 seconds. 1, 2, exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Really pay attention to your breath. Be with your breath. It's as if you're having a date with your breath. So be fully present. One more minute. When you're ready, you can stop. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was different than the long, deep breathing. I almost felt like it was harder. It could be because of my cold too, but but
Yeah.
interesting to focus on, like you said, it takes your thoughts away from your mind because you're focused on the nostril breathing.
But the fact that you're touching a part of your body means that you're focusing on your body, not on your brain. You're not letting your brain run away. You're by touching a part of your body, it helps you to focus on something physical, something tangible. So that helps gives the chattering mind a break. So, and the breath is something physical. It's happening in the body. So that helps us with sometimes an overactive brain. And that's why it's good when you're stressed, because when you focus on your breath, you stop that chattering in the brain that goes on and on and on, and it rents space in your head. So the next breath is the U breath. So it's not just one nostril, it's both. So the U breath goes like this. So we inhale in the left, and then we hold it for 4 seconds. When we hold, we just not do anything. It's just right there, just suspended. And then you exhale with the right. And then you inhale with the right. And then exhale with the left. So you're constantly doing this with your 2 fingers. So inhale left. Hold for 4. Then close with the index. Exhale right. Then inhale right. Hold for 4. And then close with the thumb again and exhale left. And then inhale left again. So it takes some concentration to follow, because sometimes you forget too. So do you want to try doing that for 3 minutes?
Sure.
Okay, let's try. Inhale. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. Inhale right. Oh, inhale left. See, I almost made a mistake. Hold for 4. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold for 4. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold for 4. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold for 4. Exhale left. Last one. Inhale left. Hold for 4. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold for 4. Exhale left. We can breathe normally again. How did that go?
Definitely a little bit more complicated, but like you said, it definitely calms the chatter from the brain and allows focus on the breathing.
And it's also an exercise of coordination, because it's inhale with one nostril and then exhale with the other nostril, and then you switch. So it's a coordination of your fingers, of your nostril, and of the breath. So by focusing on all these different parameters, your mind can't run away, because you're constantly focusing on the body. And so that's why it's also another technique to get away from an overactive brain, which sometimes gives us some kind of a neurosis, because we're overly nervous, we're overly stressed, we're always worrying about something in the future, or worried about the past. So just breathing helps us get away from all that chattering here, which is where all our stress is coming from and all the illness is coming from. So that's the third, the U breath. U, because it goes here, then it goes there again, then it's here again. So that's why it's like a U. So So the fourth one is called a segmented breath. So the segmented breath is you hold it. So, or you inhale in equal parts. So they say that so when you would do a segmented breath, what we'll do is we'll inhale in 5 counts. Then we hold for 5 again. And then we exhale with 5 counts. And then we hold it again for 5 counts. So that's like 20 seconds per full breath. So which means that if it's 20 seconds, we actually make 3 full breaths in 1 minute. And they say that the average person breathes 15 times per minute. So here we're reducing our full breaths to only 3 because it's 5 small ones, 5 mini ones. Inhale and then hold, and then 5 exhales, mini exhales, and then hold again. So it's something that helps us. It's a technique that slows down the breath to 20 seconds per breath, but done in spurts, in mini parts. So do you want to try that? So we do that for 3 minutes. So it's so we inhale in 5 small parts, equal parts. So you see your belly go out, and then you hold it or suspend it for 5 counts again. And then you exhale so that the belly goes slowly in equal parts again towards the spine. And then you keep the belly towards the spine. You suspend it for 5 seconds again until it's completely exhaled out. And then let's start again. So hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Suspend for 5. It's easier if you put your hand towards in your belly. So inhale again. Hold. Then you exhale again. Hold. Then inhale again. Hold. Exhale again. Then inhale again. Suspend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. And suspend again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can stop here. So that's another way of just slowing down your breath. Was that I guess that's manageable, right? 5 seconds. I mean 5 mini breaths. So the idea there is that because an average person breathes 15 breaths a minute, this one you would have made only 3 because it's 20 seconds for each full breath. 10 seconds inhale, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then 2 more. So that's 1 minute. So 3 full breaths per minute. So the next one is the minute breath, which is even more difficult, but it's doable if you keep doing it often. So if you do it often, that will really slow down your breath. So which means that your heart, if you're able to slow down your breath, your heart will beat very, very slow, and will keep you from being so nervous because your heart is at rest. So in the minute breath, you inhale for 20 seconds. And then you hold it for 20 seconds. And then you exhale for 20 seconds. So that could be a little bit of a challenge if you're somebody who's not used to having long breaths. But it's very possible if you're basically, you can train yourself to do that too. So do you want to try? So when we inhale for 20 seconds. So inhale, 2, Hold. Exhale. Inhale again. Hold for 20 seconds. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Now let's go back to relaxing your breath. Oh, that was hard. It's very hard to, they say that when you want to relax, you could make your exhales longer than your inhale, because it's when you exhale that you're able to ease the tension of whatever body part needs, um, wherever body part has tension. So, and for me, it's hard for me. It was hard for me when I was doing it. It was hard for me to exhale for 20 seconds because my tendency was to exhale very fast and then inhale again. So what usually happens is that you take in a lot and then you don't exhale as much. So which is what it's the same thing as life too. We take in a lot. Oh yes, I'll do that, and then but we don't take the time to recharge, to exhale, which is very, it's exactly what the breath is, right? Exactly what this breath is trying to tell us. What you put in should also go out, or you can only take so much in, but you should also take out what you don't need. And this exhale is important. This step of exhaling is important. Most of the time, we don't exhale. We don't take the time to relax. We don't recharge. We don't just lay down and be still to breathe and to exhale, because we're always go, go, go. So in a way, just doing these simple techniques in breathing is very similar to what happens in life. When we inhale, we take in challenges. When we exhale, we get rid of what we don't need. We take in what we want or what we need, and you exhale what you don't need. So, but that's why it's important to exhale equally, because if you don't exhale enough, you'll end up with much more than what you're able to take. So exhaling is important. Yeah, so that's the minute breath. So the idea there is, if you're able to do that for 3 minutes, and then you could even, if you really want to train yourself, you can even go to 7 minutes. And if you really want to try, you can even go for 11 minutes. So it's if you're able to train for a sport, breathing is also something that you can train yourself in. It's not always easy. Because you really need to concentrate and you really need to work hard. And sometimes the mind says, oh, it's getting too hard. It's getting too hard now. I better, let's stop already. Your mind is constantly fighting you to stop it. I want to do my thing now. That's what the mind is saying. So do you have any comments about that, Katie?
No, I was just thinking like the minute breath, holding it for 20 seconds. I'm a swimmer, obviously, one of the three sports of triathlon. Yeah, and how different swimming is versus running for breathing.
Yeah.
Because like for swimming, you're breathing in through your mouth, in and out through your mouth. And in through your mouth, out through your nose, because the bubbles come, and then running, it's like, I guess you could do both in through your mouth or into your nose. The better runners anyway, because you get, I think, more oxygen if you breathe through your nose. So it's opposite. And so it's just kind of interesting how you switched up, because I think number 6, in through the nose, exhale through the mouth, is opposite of the swimming. So
yeah. Well, I guess for what you want to achieve when you run and what you want to achieve for swim is different.
yeah.
But in any case, it's something that you take for granted, how you breathe. And even then, even in sport, it's important to master your breathing, isn't it? Because it sustains you and it helps you perform better if you breathe properly, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially in swimming. If you can get your heart rate down and you stay calm, it's all about the level of oxygen. And just like you said prior in the previous slides, when your heart is racing, it's taking up a lot. And so if you can calm your body, and just focus on your breath, everything else will kind of line up, and you'll perform better.
yeah. It's easier said than done, but with training, like what you do, you can do it, I think. And it requires consciousness. You need to want to do it. You need to be conscious about it. You make a conscious decision to do it. So the next two are just additional ones. There's a meditation to conquer self-animosity, they say. So here there's another position that they say you sit down in a comfortable position, and you put your fists, you put your fists in front of your heart, and your thumbs are pointing up like this. And then here you put your attention, you focus your gaze on the tip of the nose. So that's another parameter that'll help your mind not wander. You have to look at your nose while you're breathing. So there's the finger thing, and then there's the attention on the nose. And you inhale in the nose, exhale through the mouth. Then inhale through the mouth, exhale through the nose. So it's a coordination exercise. So do you want to try just to do for 3 minutes and see how we can let the mind follow the breath?
Yeah, I
So
just want to
that's what
make sure we have time for the rest of your presentation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
we have
How are we
15
doing
minutes
for
left.
time?
15 minutes left, so we can do, I mean,
1 minute then. We'll just do 1 minute then.
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. So like this, and then focus on the tip of the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale from the mouth, exhale through the nose. And then we continue for a minute. Last one. And when you're ready, let's open our eyes and relax the breath. They say this meditation is good for, because usually our biggest enemy, we are our worst enemy sometimes. We are blocking ourselves to what we really need. So apparently this meditation helps with you know, getting rid of our blocks, which we self-impose, which we put ourselves on when we want to achieve our goals, which keeps us from reaching our maximum potential. So, and then the last one is just really another meditation where you put the thumbs in your armpits. And then when you inhale, you with the mouth, so inhale with a whistle, and you exhale with the nose. So they say that when you inhale with the mouth, with the whistle, it cools the liver. And the liver, they say, at least in yogic terms, they say the liver is where anger sets, anger hides. So when you have a cool liver, that anger subsides or dissolves somehow. And as you know, sometimes the anger can consume us, and it gives us stress that we don't really need, or it weighs us down. So when you do that, and most of the time, we're very much mind and we don't listen to our heart. In this meditation, when you do this with your armpits, because there are glands there in the arm, there's lymph glands there in the armpits. And when you do that breathing for 3 minutes, I mean, just try it out and see what happens. But they say that it's good for balancing the heart and the mind, because usually it's the mind that takes over the heart. Whereas what you want is a balance, right? For a neutral mind. So, yeah. So those are just samples of calming breaths that I thought might be a good thing to try. They're very easy. You don't need any equipment. You just need to sit somewhere in a quiet place. And then, but what's really important is that it's a choice to breathe consciously. Taking long, deep breaths or conscious breathing is a choice. So instead of doing the normal thing, which people do, which is to breathe 15 breaths per minute, what we want to do is we can train ourselves to only have 1 breath per minute. So that way our heart is constantly at rest. We're not in danger, unless we're really in danger. We're in Somali where we're feeling danger. Then you leave those stress hormones to really kick in. But when there's perceived danger instead of real danger, you want your heart to be restful. So, and you do that by don't let it beat so much, and by using the breath. So, and usually just by doing that, everything changes, because even though there's chaos around us, if we start just breathing, if inside us we're at peace or at rest, then everything seems manageable. Everything seems workable, feasible. It's no big deal. It's just, that's life, change happens, but change is the only constant thing in life. So, but if we have that, and the thing is, we have that breath to access at any time of the day and at will too. But the only thing we need to do is to be conscious of it. So we need to choose to breathe consciously and not just let the body just breathe involuntarily. So here are just a few references that I used for this slide. People are happy to just look at them on their own. And then I also, I give free yoga and meditation classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesdays at 6 to 7 p.m. and Thursdays 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. in the One Loudon Clubhouse. So it's open to One Loudon residents and friends of One Loudon. And also, I'm also a coach. So if you feel stuck, either at work, if you have a personal challenge or a professional challenge, sometimes you just need somebody neutral to just mirror stuff and throw back things at you so that you can see clearly or from another perspective. And then you can decide on your own what you need to do. And sometimes you just need somebody, and sometimes it's hard when you take it with a friend, because a friend always wants to say what you want to hear. So, but with a coach who's there, who will tell it as it is, without sugarcoating or cheerleading, or sometimes you just need somebody neutral to just say, this is what I'm hearing. Now, is that what you want to do, or is that really what you do? So, but at the end of the day, it's not me who decides, it's you, because you're the only one who knows what you need and what's relevant for you to do. Because for it to mean something, it has to come from you. So even if I tell you what to do, it won't mean anything, because it's something that I did or experienced, not something that you experience. So that's what a coach does. So if anybody wants to avail of that, I'm offering an introductory session, and there's a link there where they can access a chat. So,
awesome. Thank you so much, Ninez. Wow, learned all about how important breathing is, and taking time to breathe, and how it's self-regulated to a stable state, the benefits, and all these different great examples. The challenge is to remember them when you're in that fight or flight state, to calm the body and the nerves. I think it's awesome. And I think we could all benefit from each one of these strategies, that the longer ones and even the shorter ones. And you can find Ninez at her website too, at nineznow.com. And I put it in the chat. And then I'll also add it to the YouTube channel in the description, your website and your email. And we'll send it out to those folks on email. So thank you so much. That was a great presentation. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.